What's up guys? So we are in my car today. Hello. This is going to be a video that a lot of you have been asking for and I've gotten a lot of questions about, so I thought I would just put it all in one video, all about my grad school experience so far. So if you're just stumbling upon this and looking for information about grad school, what's up? I vlog, multiple times a week. I make vlogs about my life. I do fitnessy stuff, I do grad school stuff, balancing it. For those who watch me regularly, the homies that are watching this, yeah, I'll be back with a normal vlog Sunday. Yesterday was my 23rd birthday and I had such a nice, relaxing day hanging out with my family and our friends. Felt the love from you guys, so thank you. Anyone who wished me a happy birthday means a lot to me. So if you don't know me, now's your chance to subscribe to my channel because I vlog all the time and you'll see more grad school stuff coming up. But I am in between my first and second year of my program right now. My program is 2 years long. Generally, most master's programs are 2 years that I'm aware of. I'm just gonna put this like big fat disclaimer out in the beginning. I'm not an expert. This is not a how to get into grad school video. I have said in the past when people have asked for this kind of video that I don't even think I'm qualified to give advice because like I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I'm just giving my personal experience and I'm not saying that this is what you should or should not do. This is just my kind of story and questions that pertain to me when it comes to grad school so far. I graduated from undergrad at Chapman University in 2017. So a year ago I graduated with a degree. I had two majors, political science and peace studies. Whenever I say it like fast, people think it's peace studies, but it's peace studies. I went straight into grad school from there. I didn't take any time off and I started in the fall of 2017 at American University in Washington, D.C., where I'm studying international peace and conflict resolution. So I'm getting a Master of Arts in that. I did ask a few vlogs back for specific questions, so I'm going to be referencing those. Someone says, could you explain exactly what you're studying and what your end goal is? I majored in poli-sci in undergrad and I'm unsure of what program I want to choose for my master's. I get a lot of questions about what exactly I want to do after graduation. When I got to college, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and then I took a few classes in foreign policy and I was like, wow, I want to work for the UN. I want to work in an international organization. Like, that's what I want to do. And then throughout the next couple of years, I studied abroad. I spoke to different people who worked in different fields. And I was like, you know what? I think I actually want to work for the US State Department and work as, a diplomat working in different embassies, like work for the US government. For the last couple of years since then, I've gone back and forth and I've learned different things. I don't know exactly what I want to do, but I kind of like the idea of working in research or like a think tank, which is kind of independent from the government and independent from an international organization necessarily, but think tanks generally do research and policy analysis that provides information for people making decisions, like whether that be in the government or the private sector. I've always loved the idea of like public service and working towards, in theory, obviously, working towards the public good rather than a profit in a private sector. I've always just wanted to do something meaningful. I don't want to be here sitting here like I'm gonna change the world one day. Like, that's a little naive, but I do want to just work in some meaningful work and provide some sort of research that could help someone somewhere develop a better policy. And I just think it would be really interesting, at least in my beginning stages of my career after getting my master's, to do some sort of research and working in a think tank or an NGO, which is a non-governmental organization. If I worked for an international organization, I think it'd be really, really interesting to work for the World Bank, which is a development organization, because I'm really interested in economic development, and specifically my area of interest is kind of like economic dimensions to conflict and motivations. Like what kind of economic incentives could there be for a peaceful environment rather than like a wartime military industrial complex. Okay, this is getting complicated. It's very specific to my program and a lot of you it probably doesn't apply and you're like, what the hell are you even talking about? So I'm gonna move on, but basically that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. And I like the International Peace and Conflict Resolution program at American because it is quite neutral in the sense that we're not learning things from a US government like foreign policy perspective. I almost did the US foreign policy and national security program, but I'm kind of glad that I chose IPCR, is what I'm going to call it. It's International Peace and Conflict Resolution, because it is a lot more just like step back and look at the international perspective and how it affects different actors and not just US interests. I got a lot of questions as to the application process. I honestly don't even remember it. It was a very standard application, transcripts, you write an essay and why you're interested in your program, and get a couple letters of recommendation and take the GRE, which I did. I really kind of half-assed the application process, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. That's why I don't feel like I am giving good advice, but I'm just being honest, like my experience. Remember, I was like writing my essays at the last minute, like the night they were due, the whole application was due, like I was doing it last minute. For me in undergrad at Chapman University, political science was not really the strongest. Chapman's very much a arts-based film school. That's what they pride themselves on. It's like one of the top 5 film schools in the nation. Chose Chapman because mostly of the location, and I got a good scholarship, and I liked the size, and I really enjoyed the campus and the feel of it when I visited. And I chose that at the time rather than having the strongest political science program, and I don't regret that. Like, I loved my undergrad experience, and personally I kind of knew that grad school was always going to be in the plan for me at some point, whether that's straight out of college or later on. I think it's more important to go to a grad school that's a stronger program for what you're doing as opposed to undergrad, because people are always going to look at your most recent education. American is one of the top 10 international affairs kind of programs. The School of International Service is really well regarded and really strong program. I absolutely love the program. I love the School of International Service. I've had nothing but great experiences with all the professors that I've had are just so caring and involved and just well regarded in their field. Like, they're strong people that are also doing other things at the same time. Like, I had a professor who was also a senior advisor to the UN while he was teaching our class. That's why I chose it too. It's also its location in DC, has so many opportunities, and it's really the hub of what I want to do. Anyway, that question was about the application process, so that was kind of vague. It's a pretty standard application. Like I said, I didn't really prepare for the GRE. I got average scores, like slightly above average. I don't remember my exact scores, but I know they like really weren't great. The cost of attendance is expensive. So basically, I have a scholarship to American. Actually, I didn't confirm that I was attending for a couple weeks, like very close to the deadline. As you can tell, this whole thing was like pretty last minute. I think it was like a week before the deadline. Then they came out to me and were like, hey, we're gonna offer you this academic excellence scholarship for your grades or whatever it was. And they didn't say that initially with my acceptance. I do honestly think it was just like an incentive for me to enroll. So I don't know if every school's like that. I don't know. That's probably not a good thing to tell you, to like wait to hold off on enrolling if you get accepted, because they might offer you something a lot lower for the first year, and then you get more money for the second year of the program, because obviously they want people to stay for both years. Someone says, will you be writing a thesis for the program you're in? For my program, you can choose to write a thesis or do a practicum, which is like a working in a group kind of project setting, more of a project-based kind of thing. And I think I'm going to be applying to practicums in the fall as opposed to writing a thesis. The impression I'm under is thesis is better if you're going to go on to get a doctorate, because you can expand on that and like show research skills in that. Whereas if you're trying to work right after, it's better to do practicum because it's like more connections and real like life experience with it. So I think I'm going to apply to practicums instead. What was the biggest adjustment to grad school versus undergrad besides the move? Was it the workload, projects, professors, etc.? Just the type of people in the program. Like, people in grad school are more passionate, because if you want to come back and do more school, it's something that is, you know, you really love and want to advance your career with, and it is a lot of older people. It's not just like people my age. I was actually in the minority as far as like people who came straight from college. I only knew a few others, and most people were older and had been working in the field for like 5 or 6 years and came back, like maybe they were 30, whatever. So it's very different, like social dynamic, but at the same time I think that gives a very rich classroom environment, because you get a lot of very interesting perspectives. And I had a lot more like diversity as far as where people came from. There was a lot more international students in my classes at American than there were at Chapman, and just people who had some really cool backgrounds, and I've learned a lot from them too. So that's a big difference. Grad school is a lot less social. Like, I don't really hang out with people from classes outside of class necessarily. Like, I had people in my classes where we like talked and were friendly and helped each other out and worked together. I didn't like go out with them on the weekends. I also live like 40 minutes from my campus, so I kind of was only there on campus for classes, and then I would just like go home. So I didn't really engage in the community that much personally, but that's just me. A lot of people have different experiences with that, and you might have like best friends from your classes. I hope that, you know, helped you out, added some perspective if you're looking at grad schools. Like, good. I've had a really good experience so far. I'm only halfway there, so we got another year until I get my master's degree. I'm really excited for the fall and take more classes. Hope that answered some questions you had about grad school, especially like with my program and what I want to do, even though I don't have like a specific line of career as of now. But yeah, thanks for watching.